You know that feeling, right? That moment of frustration when you ask an AI for something very specific and it feels like it ignores you. But what if it's not ignoring you? What if it never even saw the part you cared about most? Let's get into what's really going on here. I mean, we've all been there. You type out a perfectly clear, simple request, and the answer that comes back just sails right past the most important part. It honestly feels like you weren't heard at all. Okay, so let's walk through a super common example. Imagine you've got this long article, and you just need the gist of it. So you ask the system for a summary. A really simple, straightforward task. But, and this is the important part, that's not all you want. Tucked inside your request, you've also asked for one crucial, specific detail. Maybe it's a person's name or a key date. For you, that little detail is the whole reason you're even asking. And boom, here it is, the moment it all goes sideways. You expected to get both things back, the summary and your specific detail. But what you actually get is just the summary. The one thing you really needed is just gone. Your first thought, and it's a totally human one, is something like, it just skipped that part. It feels like the system saw it, understood it, and then just decided to leave it out. So why? Why does this keep happening? Is the system just being difficult? Did it not read your entire prompt? Well, the real answer is actually a lot more interesting, and it gets right to the heart of how these things work. It really all boils down to this one core idea: signal priority. All that means is that the system doesn't see every word in your request as being equally important. Some parts of your request just stand out way more than others. You could almost picture your request being put on a set of scales. The AI is weighing your words to figure out what the main job is. It's not reading for your intention like a person would, it's just looking for the heaviest part of the command. So, how does it decide what's heavy and what's light? It all comes from the patterns it learned by looking at massive amounts of text. It learned that phrases like, summarize this article, are really strong, really heavy signals for a certain kind of task. And right here, this is the absolute key. The system's sense of priority is all based on those big statistical patterns. It has no way of knowing the personal importance that makes one little detail so crucial to you. This visualizes it perfectly. A command like summarize article is a huge, heavy signal. It gets a really high priority score. But a specific detail, something like, and tell me the CEO's name, well, that comes across as a much weaker, lighter signal by comparison. So what's the direct result of this? Well, those lighter signals, your specific, crucial details, they basically just fade into the background. The system puts all its energy into answering the strongest, heaviest signal it found. So we have this fundamental difference in what matters. What's important to you is your very specific goal and the context behind it. But what stands out to the system is just the strongest statistical signal it can find in your words. From your side of the screen, it's simple. You have a specific intent. That crucial detail isn't just a side note, it's the whole point. It's the final answer you're actually looking for. But from the system's perspective, it's totally different. It doesn't see intent. It sees a broad pattern. It locks onto those statistically heavy signals, which almost always point to the most general part of your request. And that's it, right there. That's the gap between human priority and statistical priority. That's what creates the mismatch. The system wasn't being lazy. It was just weighing things differently than you were. Which brings us right back to the beginning. Now that we understand this idea of signal priority, can we really say that the AI ignored you? And the answer is no. It didn't ignore you. It just couldn't see your priority. The piece of the request that was most important to you just wasn't the piece that was strongest to the system. To put it as simply as possible, your priority wasn't its strongest pattern. The system did its job exactly as it was designed to. It responded to the heaviest signal it found. And it's worth saying that in the moment, it absolutely feels like selective listening. It feels like talking to a person who clearly heard you, but just chose to answer the easy part of your question. But once you understand this idea of signal priority, that feeling starts to change. You start to see it's not a personal slight, and it's not a random glitch. It's actually a predictable outcome of how the whole system functions. And that's the whole explanation, that fundamental difference between what's important to a person and what stands out to a machine. That's why you get these mismatched results. This explains why the system behaves the way it does.